My entitled mom is acting like the mother to my child, and I don't know what to do. Me and my girlfriend have a baby on the way, and with not much time to go before he's due, my mom is super excited because it's her first grandchild, and I appreciate that, but she's also being too controlling and overprotective. Quite early on, she was just bombarding us with names that either myself or my girlfriend didn't like. And when we told her we didn't like the names she mentioned, she took offense to it and started accusing my girlfriend of being too fussy and controlling, saying she isn't giving me a choice. For me, a lot of these names were associated with people I've met in my life and had bad experiences with. And my girlfriend works in a nursery and had seen many kids over the years with most of the names who've been really naughty children, so she doesn't want her child to be associated with them, which I'm completely fine with and agree. She eventually calmed this down, until recently. I had a Christmas present for my girlfriend delivered to my mom's, as nobody would be at my home when the package is being delivered. She decided to wrap it and write a label on it being "From Bump," which I politely asked her not to do, as I didn't like it. I told her, although it's a nice thought, it'll be completely different next year when he's born, so we should just keep it the same way while he's not. Mom threw a big strop over it and started accusing me of being selfish and ungrateful. All the names under the sun, basically. And for what? Me saying I didn't like a Christmas tag? Then, over the Christmas period, we've both agreed on a name that we both really like. And my mom has decided she hates it and is since bombarding us with new name suggestions, trying to deter us away from it. I don't know if the post makes me sound petty, but it's becoming so stressful for me and my girlfriend. It's our baby, and my mom's behaving like it's hers. She wants to pick the name, and decides it's everyone's fault if we don't like the names she suggests. It's like World War III for liking a name that she doesn't. Both my grandma and stepdad think she's being controlling and acting like the baby is hers. But if either of them say anything to her, she'll just shut them both down and kick off. My grandma fears for the baby's safety in my mom's hands, as she just seems really unstable. My grandma has dementia, and mom won't even care for her or visit unless my stepdad forces her to. Her number one focus is baby, and it's getting too much. She's behaving stupidly entitled. You're right, she's being entitled and controlling. And if you have to, go full no contact and tell her why. If that's what it comes to, stick to it and don't falter. If she tries to force herself into the situation by coming over unannounced or inviting herself over to events, get a restraining order put in place. Hopefully it wouldn't come to that, but if it does, that might help open her eyes to the situation. If it doesn't, you have a legal right to back you up, and she could see the inside of a cell for violating the order. Your mother really isn't ready for the grandparent role, and you need to think about whether your mother is someone you want to have in your daughter's life or not. My girlfriend said her guy friend contributes more to her life than I do, yet I've helped her with her mental health a lot, and now I don't know if I should break up with her over this. My girlfriend of 2 years confessed to me a while ago that she believes her guy friend, who she has known for relatively the same amount of time as me, contributes more to her life than I do, and she even confirmed that it wasn't even close. For context, this guy friend, who we'll call Bob, and my girlfriend only maybe speak once a week, and maybe see each other once every few months. However, I see or speak to her pretty much every day. It would be understandable if I was a bad boyfriend, and maybe I wasn't there for her, but that could not be farther from the truth. My girlfriend is a victim of sensual abuse, and other forms of abuse, from people that were supposed to protect her growing up. So when we first met, I did my absolute best to be aware of do's and don'ts, and understand that she will have trust issues and other hurdles, such as her fear and high caution of men. Fast forward to 2 years now, and she is quite literally a different person. I've encouraged her to step outside of her comfort zone and meet new people, rather than being a recluse. I had her move up to my city to study, and I can better take care of her here if she needs anything, because her old city was horrible. She's met my family, bonded heavily with my brothers, and met my father, etc. I've done all this to help her with her anxiety and to give her a proper support system, and what I've mentioned isn't even 10% of what I've done for her over the last 2 years. I mentioned that I see or speak to her every day. This is because I make it a priority to see if she's okay and in a stable mental space. We have an unspoken rule that she shouldn't go to bed by herself because she has terrible nightmares and flashbacks that sometimes seem so real that she has trouble knowing what is real or not, even when she's not asleep. This has led to multiple situations where she has in fact accused me of heinous and disgusting things that I would never do. And every time these situations happen, I'm calm, I never lash out, and I stay patient while calming her down, because eventually she understands that the things she previously accused me of were not real, and apologizes profusely for it. All in all, I thought my patience and understanding was paying off, and everything was going fine, until we had a phone call the other day. We were on the topic of support and encouragement, and she said I'm not very supportive and encouraging. I then asked, well, do you know anybody that does more than me for you? It was a rhetorical question because I thought it was pretty clear, but instead she laughed, quite a bit more than a chuckle, then said, Bob. I was taken aback by this. Now what bugs me isn't the fact that she said another guy's name or whatever, it's the fact that my daily efforts, soul-breaking endeavors, and sacrifices I've made over the time I've known her have been of less value than whatever this Bob guy has done. I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but it seems to me that she must think I don't do much. I confronted her about this a day later with my concerns, and she confirmed every single one of them. That yes, this Bob guy contributes more, etc., and that my efforts were not even close. And said, yeah, sorry to disappoint, but did you want me to lie to you? I don't know, guys. My entire relationship history has consisted of giving too much and getting burned for it, and then still sticking around afterwards. I don't want to go through this again. I want to feel valued, and I want to give 100% in a relationship, or why bother? I'm well aware that people don't value things they're given for free or didn't work for, but at the same time, I thought someone who has suffered sensual abuse shouldn't have to work for or earn support. I'm rambling too much now. What are your thoughts? If she doesn't appreciate you, you need to walk away from this relationship. Start nurturing and valuing yourself. All the time and energy you put into building her up, turn it around and put that time and energy into building yourself up. All of your efforts were for nothing because she sees the other guy as better. It sounds like you help her so much, but she refuses to acknowledge it. So find someone that will. She will only start dragging you down. When you enter new relationships, start checking yourself when you feel the need to swoop in from the start. It's far more rewarding to have a kind partner that wants to do things for you as well. I caught my fiance in an emotional affair with a coworker, and he wants to regain my trust, but won't show me the messages. My fiance and I have been together for 2 years, and I always felt that we have a good relationship, as it's the healthiest relationship I have ever been in. We are open and honest, and he's always been very loving. Recently, he lost his mother suddenly, which has taken a toll on him. However, I don't feel that this has negatively impacted us as a couple, and that we're still in a good place. Well, until now. I noticed him being shady with his phone, hiding his messages when the notifications appear, closing all of his apps, and locking the phone if he saw me coming towards him. I've made a few comments, but he says he's not doing anything. I kept seeing the name of a female coworker appearing, so curiosity got the better of me, and I checked his phone whilst he was in the shower. I know that's a bad thing to do, but I had to check so I could hopefully put my mind at rest. Unfortunately, quite the opposite happened, as I found several flirtatious messages between them, brief exchanges, and no photos, nor any suggestion of physical infidelity, but definitely not appropriate messages between coworkers or friends. He even gave out our address to her so that she could pick him up for a Christmas party, which he had told me a male colleague was picking him up for. I was in an absolute panic, scrolling backwards and forwards, and didn't get a chance to work out the timeline of these messages, other than the Christmas party, which was 2 to 3 weeks ago. I really wish I had taken some evidence. Invading someone's privacy is not something I take lightly, but I'm glad I did it. When he came back from the shower, I confronted him and told him how he had betrayed my trust. He swears that nothing has happened or will happen and that the messages just read badly. They've been friends for 20 years, and she is one of the guys as far as he's concerned. I said that it's not normal to call your friends beautiful and say how great they looked on a night they were hanging out with colleagues, etc. But he still vehemently denies that the messages were inappropriate and they were just banter. That explanation explanation caused me to fly into a rage. How dare he think I'm that stupid? So I threw him out for the night and allowed him to come back the next day to fully explain himself once things have calmed down. I didn't sleep that night and spent the whole night researching emotional infidelity to see why it happens and how to heal from it going forwards, etc., and decided that we needed boundaries if we were going to carry on the relationship and get married. He agreed to all of the boundaries and kept begging and pleading that he doesn't want to lose me and never wanted to hurt me, but when I asked to see the messages, he wouldn't show them to me. His justification is that I have seen the worst of it already and will just upset myself again. I said that this implies there's more to see, or that he's made some effort to conceal the messages or alert his coworker that they've been found out. He swears this is not the case and thinks he can compromise by showing me a few paltry screenshots of previous innocent messages between them. Given that he has already betrayed my trust and wrecked me emotionally, I told him that this is the least he can do for me, but he's standing firm. Do we think it's time for an ultimatum here? And how would I go about enforcing one? I'm worried that emotions will get the better of me, as he's been so upset and apologetic. He also risks homelessness if I throw him out, so none of this makes any sense. He has never been dishonest to me before, and it's just not in his character, but I'm trying not to excuse his behavior in that way. I later found out that this girl is known for being inappropriate at work, and that she is married. Yes, an ultimatum is needed. He knows that whatever he's hiding has the potential to break the relationship, which is why he refuses to show them to you, which is why you absolutely must insist you see them. My feeling is that he'll delete them before you get a chance to see. Either way, this behavior would be a deal breaker, because there's no way to recover from the mistrust if he can't take accountability and come clean. If he doesn't tell and show you everything willingly, consider your relationship over. He will probably do it again. He will just hide it better the next time around. You're not married, and he's already been cheating on you. The fact he would be homeless if you broke it off is something you should consider might be a big motivation for him wanting you to forgive him. What do you guys think she should do? My boyfriend's friend told me I should leave him as he isn't a good boyfriend, and I don't know whether to listen to him or not. So last night I went with my boyfriend of almost 4 years to his friend's New Year's Eve/Christmas party. It's been at the same place for years, but I guess this year they had too many people attending and changed the address to another friend's place who can hold everyone. I found out that they didn't even actually invite him at first. He assumed he was invited because he has been before. He asked multiple times in the group chat when it was, and nobody responded for weeks. I thought, okay, well, maybe they forgot to send the invite, and assumed he just knew since it was an annual thing. Someone finally responded a few days ago, but then when we were on the way, he sent a message letting everyone know we would be there soon. He got a message back that the location changed. I thought that was weird because the location changed and nobody thought to tell him. He had even asked 2 days ago if it was still at the other friend's house, like every year, and he was told yes by the person who was actually hosting. He bought Christmas gifts for some of his friends, such as old roommates and people who bought him gifts last year, but only one person gave him a gift this year. Everyone else got multiple. Everyone in the room except for him probably got about 5 or 6, including a baby and a 16-year-old who wasn't even expected to be coming but tagged along with her sister. That same person who gifted him also gave me a gift, which I didn't expect, and it was probably $70 to $80 worth of skincare products and lotions, which I've been getting into recently. One other person technically gave him a gift, but it was a stocking filled with candy marked for both me and him. One thing I noticed about the stocking is it had a hell of a lot of mints in it, like more than everyone else's. My boyfriend in the past would sometimes go days without brushing his teeth, so his breath was stinking, so I thought it was a dig. I kind of brushed it off as, well, maybe they just added more on accident, and thought I was looking too hard at it. His friends also kept teasing him for how he treats me. They know we've had problems in the past, where I've actually left him because he wasn't putting effort into our relationship. They kept saying he was neglectful to my needs. When he got up and got himself himself food, they teased him because he didn't ask if I wanted anything or fix me a plate. I am perfectly capable of fixing myself a plate, but yeah, if it were me, I would have and have fixed him a plate too, or at least asked. They gave him crap about that at their Friendsgiving too, as well as him not introducing me to people I was meeting for the first time, and he was just carrying on conversation with them while I was standing right next to him. They also kept making the joke that he didn't allow me to do things like eat or drink because I said I wasn't hungry yet, which is why I didn't get a plate when everyone else did. Later on in the night, the friend who got me the gift asked if my boyfriend can read my mind, and when I said sort of, she said, "After 4 years, that's not a definite yes. You need to leave him." She said he didn't deserve me, or something along those lines, another time in the night. She laughed afterwards, so I think it was a joke, but it was still kind of weird with everything else being said. She is also happily married, so I don't think she wants him or anything, so I'm not sure why she said that other than maybe a poor joke. At another point in the night, they were all playing Jackbox, and I was just watching and scrolling social media on my phone, and one of his friends called him useless as a joke to a prompt given. His energy kind of shifted there. I had noticed he seemed a little upset each time they joked with him about our relationship, and he got quiet, but bounced back to being involved fairly quickly. The host was also messing with him and telling him he needs to be a better boyfriend to me, pretending like my boyfriend gave him one of his game systems that he brought with him, just trying to be funny and lighten the mood. I was laughing, and my boyfriend was kind of half smiling, but he said, "Why is everyone messing with me?" I felt a little awkwardness come up as the gift giver and host said they were just trying to get him to loosen up since he was the serious one. In the 4 years we've been together, I've met his friends a handful of times, despite me mentioning I would like to hang out with them. I thought they didn't like me for a long time, but as it turns out, they do. He just never brings me around. Is it likely I'm looking too hard at the interactions? Should I be reading between the lines? You really don't have to read between the lines when one of his friends has outright told you they think you should leave him. Either your boyfriend really is a crappy person, or his friends are crappy. The way you describe your relationship with him, and your being oblivious to most things, sounds like you've just gotten together and have not been together for that long, as usually a partner would introduce their SO to their friends, especially after 4 years. My 6-year relationship has gone down the drain after my partner cheated on me. So I've been with my partner for 6 years now. Throughout the entire relationship, it's been pretty much perfect. We had no arguments, had meals together, going on traveling adventures together, and much more. I moved in to live with her at her mom's and rented a room with her a year into the relationship, and we've lived together since. So we were very close and spent an insane amount of time together. Because of this, I was part of the family, with her and her mom and brother towards the end. Unfortunately, I had my first red flag about 6 months ago, when I noticed her texting her ex a bit more. They had a minor school relationship, and nothing serious, and was part of her friends group. So I assumed he was more of a friend at this point, so it didn't raise major concerns. Then, about 3 months ago, she told me that he has admitted that he feels more than friends to my partner. Obviously, I said that she should stop texting him straight away, and I sent him a message to tell him to stay well away, and I was aware of what he said. Then, around 2 months ago, she told me she was struggling with mental health and went to the doctors to get prescribed antidepressants. She has had a bit of a battle with mental health over the relationship, but nothing too bad, and it was manageable. I also noticed her medication usage picked up a bit, constantly going out each weekend and getting wasted. At this point, I sat her down a few times and had a relationship checkup type of chat and asked her if there's anything wrong or if I could do or change anything to help her. And I was met with the "I don't know what's wrong with me" type of statement, so no real outcome came from that. Then 6 days ago, I had the worst experience of my life. I knew something was off at this point, as she had recently been texting a lot with her phone tilted away in bed. It was a very noticeable jump in her messaging on her phone. So I looked over her phone and found thousands of deleted texts in her bin. Very graphic and absolutely brutal beyond comprehension, to the degree I almost passed out. It was a true shock. back. She had been making love with her ex and meeting up over the last 2 months. I confronted her and ended it there and then, but unfortunately, the pain did not stop there. I met up with her 2 days ago to have a talk to understand what and why this has happened. We spoke and got to the point where the relationship could be left open if I can see that she works on herself and wins back my trust over a long time. She said she still truly loves me, and it's the biggest regret of her life. We hugged and said goodbye. Unfortunately, just 3 hours after, she invited the guy she cheated with over to her house. I saw his car outside and walked in to find them both in bed together cuddling, as he had been there for about 10 minutes at this point, candle burning, and he brought a crate of beer over. Let's say it was not a good day to be him. I did want to have a chat with him at some point. It just happened I had to find him with her. As of today, I'm getting messages from her saying she still loves me and does not love him, and she regrets the messages and stuff along those lines. The problem is, I love her even though I hate her, but she is not the same girl since taking medication and antidepressants, which is where the issue started. The other issue is, I am very sure she loves me, as we have had a near perfect and fun relationship together, and planned on many more years, as well as the texts I've received. How should I approach this mess? And what should I be looking for if someone has genuinely made a mistake and tries to win back my trust to work it out over time? It is not what you want to hear at all, but how you should handle it is cutting contact. She cheated. Then she tried to make things work while presumably continuing to see this guy. You cannot trust her. She will lie to get what she wants. She will say what she must to get you back. But those are words. Words are easy to say, and a lot of people are quite good at saying what they know you want to hear. Her actions speak too, and they say something entirely different. Actions matter more than words.